What's up, people? It's your girl Adeola. So my people, I have a problem with Nigerians, a very serious problem. Why have we become so complacent? And what exactly will it take for us to wake up and fight our own revolution? Do you know that 42 students and one teacher were killed by Boko Haram last Saturday in Yobe? 42 secondary school students gunned down. Some of them burnt alive right inside their hostel, and we don't think that this calls for a national demonstration. If something like this should happen in another African country, do you know that the people of that country will cry out until something is done? Forget about the US, forget about UK. If that had happened in Zimbabwe, the people of Zimbabwe will cry out. They will protest. Just remember when policemen gunned down 34 miners in South Africa. South Africans protested, and 2 months ago in Kenya, members of parliament decided to increase their salaries. Do you know that Kenyans gathered themselves and protested? In fact, they released 3 dozen pigs and they spilled pig's blood on the entrance of the Kenyan parliament. And these people referred to their MPs as MPigs. But not Nigerians, even though our members of parliament are the highest paid in the whole world and we don't see what exactly they are doing with all the money that they are getting. But forget about that. How can we not protest the fact that 42 teenagers were gunned down by people who believe that Western education is a sin? In fact, as far as I can remember, since Boko Haram started killing people in Nigeria, and God knows they've killed more than 3,000 people, we've not had not one protest because of Boko Haram to tell our government that do something other than giving us pathetic speeches. Our lives are no longer safe. Our children are now being targeted just because they are going to school. Our churches are being bombed and our mosques are being attacked. Do something more to stop this menace. By the way, what happened to, I thought Nigerian army are the best on land troops. What happened to that? State of emergency or not, I don't believe that our leaders really care about us. I don't care what you say about President Jonathan, but he clearly does not care about his citizens as far as I'm concerned. And those of you that like to defend him on Facebook, on YouTube, yes, he doesn't care about you either. Imagine, all he said when these children were massacred was that the killers will go to hell. I'm like, the killers, seriously, the killers will go to hell? That's all you can say? And I'm like, you're a parent. He has children. And what are their names? Sorry, I forgot. Nobody knows what their names are. 2 days after that, Mr. President and his madam took off to China. Yes, so you know, yes, no tragedy in Nigeria has ever stopped this man from his international trips. It's funny because the Amnesty Committee then announced to us that they've signed a ceasefire with Boko Haram for the period of Ramadan. And I'm like, they killed 42 students today and the next day you signed a ceasefire? Nigeria, you never cease to amaze me. So because of this incident, you know, Yobe State closed down all secondary schools, which is a very good measure, right? But that's also what the Boko Haram people really want. You know, they want us to close down schools because they believe education is a sin. You know that in December last year, one man killed about 20 school children here in the US, in Connecticut. And American President Barack Obama addressed the whole nation that day with tears in his eyes as he spoke on national TV that his first reaction was not as a president, but as a parent. So tell me, does Jonathan care about these 42 children or their families? No. And what was he doing in China, borrowing another $3 billion? Yes, so of course, the previous billions of dollars that we've borrowed, we the people are yet to see what they are doing with it. And I wonder when Nigerians will start demanding an explanation on where this money is going. Because whether you like it or not, you will be the ones that will have to pay back China. Yes, you and your children, you will have to pay back China someday. Do you know that we've borrowed more than President Morsi of Egypt borrowed when Egyptians were like, it's time to get rid of him? Because they were asking each other, who's going to pay all this debt? Not our children, and that was one of the reasons why they kicked him out. Yet we Nigerians are just watching them as they are selling the future of our children without even questioning them. And by the way, why are Egyptians killing each other now? My people in Egypt, and 2 wrongs never make a right. Yes, so please stop all these killings, I beg. So as I was saying, Jonathan went to China with about 125 delegates. I said, all these grown men and women, seriously, what are they doing? All of them to go and beg China for more money, even though we still don't know what happened to the subsidy fund. You know, the $6 billion that just disappeared in Nigeria. Don't ask me how much this China trip cost, because you know, yeah. And by the way, when Jonathan got to China, no be me talk more, but when he got to China last Tuesday, the president of China did not see him that day, even though Jonathan and his wife were hosted right inside the guest house of the Chinese president. The guy did not see them until the next day evening. You see, actually we are the ones looking for something now. They can only see us whenever they have time to see us. I mean, no be so. In fact, he didn't come to meet him at the airport. He sent the assistant foreign minister to come and meet our president at the airport. But if somebody comes to Nigeria, you know, Mr. President will be the first at the airport, you know, to welcome them. All that I'm saying is that this is one school where they killed 42 students, okay? If we as a people, if we do not stand up and reclaim our country just because we think that Yobe is far from where we live, oh, they will never get to us, don't be surprised if this gunmen proceed to other schools as well. And for God's sake, if you are not willing to speak out against these atrocities in our country, please stop discouraging those that are doing so. Yes, stop discouraging them. I remember the Save Nigeria group, or what do they call them? I've heard a lot of people saying that, why is Pastor Tunde Bakari talking about corruption in politics? Oh, he's a pastor, he's supposed to face preaching. I'm just shaking my head. I said, this guy is only speaking out because he cares. I mean, I don't know him, I've never met him in person. If all our preachers in Nigeria will speak up just like this man is doing against corruption and against governmental atrocities, oh, God knows that Nigeria would have changed by now. If all those preachers will talk about, you get what I'm saying, Nigeria would have changed by now. At least we saw in the Bible that Elijah confronted King Asa and he told him, you've been a very bad king. Yes. And Queen Esther stood up for her people. So please don't even get me started. But like I said, what do I know? I'm just keeping it real. So this past week, the people of Malawi celebrated their 49th independence anniversary. You know how wonderful. That was last Saturday, July 6th. So they are, wait a minute, July 6th? What? Malawi, seriously? That's my birthday, July 6th. What? Seriously? I'm never going to forget your Independence Day from now on. Okay, so like I was saying, they all celebrated their independence anniversary. Now, I think we really need to commend the president of, you know, Malawi, Joyce Banda, for her amazing efforts so far in transforming her country. Some argue that she has not done well enough, but let me tell you, this woman has done more than most African presidents that I know of, and they are men. One of them in particular, whose name I shall not mention. Call it, take down that picture. I just told you I'm not mentioning any names. Do you have to? You are looking for trouble. Okay, like I was saying, this woman has done a lot. Even before her career in politics, I mean, before she became the first female vice president in Malawi, this woman was an activist and an educator. She was fighting for women and for the poor people in her country. You know, Yoruba people always say that, you know, which means whatever happens on Saturday will give you an insight as to what you should expect to happen on Sunday. Is that? I don't know, something like that, yeah. Anyway, so back then, this woman founded the Joyce Banda Foundation for Impoverished Children and Orphans before she even became the vice president. And then she founded the National Association of Business Women. She founded the Young Women Leadership Network and also the Hunger Project. You know, she's been doing a lot. So I wasn't surprised that when she became a president, she continued to fight for the poor and the less privileged. So Forbes Magazine named her the 71st most powerful woman in the world, and that's the highest African name on that list, by the way, 71st. And then they also named her the most powerful woman in Africa. So far, she has demonstrated a commitment to fighting corruption in Malawi and abroad, fighting for justice and sound diplomacy. By the way, in her first week in office, do you know that Banda launched a diplomatic offensive to repair Malawi's international reputation, reaching out to other countries in order to better relations and forging serious opportunities? And then in June of last year, President Banda sold Malawi's presidential jet and a fleet of 60 luxurious cars. Do you know that her jet alone brought in $15 million in revenue for the country? My people, that is more than 50 billion Malawian kwacha. Do you know what that could do? 50 billion? Hello. And I also like the fact that she's been going back and forth with Madonna. I'm not saying that she's right or Madonna is right. I'm just saying I like seeing African leaders who can stand up to anyone regardless of who it is, to tell them, hey, this is how I feel about you, you know, without being afraid that, oh, I'm from Africa, you know. I'm not supposed to say anything against America or against yes, President Banda is certainly doing amazing things for her country. And of course, her progressive political leadership has a record as bright as her philanthropic aims, and she is on uninterruptedly proving to the world that Africa still has very great leaders, women especially, you know. Yes, we are naturally, you know, we are good. But having said all that, my dear sister Joyce, please don't turn out like the president of Liberia, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. No offense, but she started well as well, you know. She started out well, only for us to find out that this madam had, she has her children, you know, in top government positions. You know, do well, just keep doing well, my sister. You know, I'm just keeping it real. So this next story is for all Africans who are in the US and those of you who are trying by fire by force to relocate to America. Yes. Have you all been following the immigration reform bill? And let me tell you, America is about to change how people will get their visas and especially how they will get their American working papers. Yes, it's all about papers, you know, Mali. And the way the bill is right now is not exactly good for us Africans unless we stand up and demand that they make some changes before the bill passes. The sad thing is that many Africans, they have not been following at all. Although I don't blame us Africans because we are too busy working too many jobs, too many daytime and nighttime jobs, having elaborate wedding ceremonies. Owambe, we are all about Owambe. We're showing off at local parties on Saturdays. Every Saturday there's some event going on among Nigerians, especially among Africans. You know, you better pay attention, my people. So the first thing for us to keep in mind is that this immigration bill, if not amended, is about to get rid of the diversity visa lottery program. And in case you don't know, that is how many Africans get to come to the US. 22,000 Africans every year come to this country through the green card visa lottery. But starting next year, if this bill passes, no more visa lottery. The last time you can play the lottery is this year. After that, no more. Stephanie. But like I said, it's still a bill. It has not yet passed, which is why we need to lobby for changes right now so that they won't get rid of the green card lottery. Now, if the bill should pass, it will replace the visa lottery with what they call merit-based system. This means that instead of playing the lottery, people that want to come up to America, they will be applying for what they call STEM visas. I'll tell you the meaning of STEM in a minute, but this STEM visa will be the only visa under the bill that will come with automatic green card. Okay, so now the meaning of STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Now that means only people in those fields can apply for that visa. Are you confused yet? I know, me too, I'm confused, but don't worry, you'll get it. So if you studied science, technology, this has nothing to do with medicine. Or if you studied engineering or mathematics and you got your master's degree or your PhD in an American school, then you can apply for this STEM visa if the bill should pass. Okay, however, you must already have a job lined up for you here in America before you can apply for that STEM visa. And by the way, you have to get your master's or PhD in an American graduate school to qualify. I don't think you can bring your PhD from Oju Elegba and then you get this STEM visa. No. So while I'm happy for those who studied science, technology, engineering, and maths, the question is, if the bill should pass the way it is without any amendment, I mean, what happens to our African nurses who want to come to America? Even doctors are not included. In short, anything health or medical field is not included in this STEM visa. Are you seeing what I'm saying? Are you following? Don't be deceived by the science in the STEM. It's only science, technology. So what happens to those who studied accounting, banking, finance, journalism? You all will not qualify to apply for the STEM visa. So if you want your profession to be included, or your daughter's profession or your friend's profession, you're gonna have to call the members of Congress and ask them to include your profession. See, there's still room for us to make changes, but Africans are not paying attention. We're not paying attention. This is when we need to stand up and say, first of all, no matter what you do, don't get rid of the green card lottery. No, don't do that. And then we should also tell them to include other professions in the STEM visa. Now, the other visas that will be provided under this bill do not come with automatic green card, okay? So you will have to be on those visas for some years before you can then apply for green card. And in order not to confuse you too much today, I'll be talking about those other visas next time. I'll talk about what your options are if you're in the US and you're undocumented. I mean, if your visa has expired, you know, some of you came here on a visiting visa and then you refuse to go back, or if you're out of status. And also I'll talk about the changes that will occur with H-1B visas, and this is if the bill should pass. I'll also talk about how people of other races are getting special visas under this new bill, even though we Africans are not getting any. Then I'll talk about what we need to do in order to change that. But keep in mind that if we don't do anything right now, this lottery visa thing may be erased, and Only people with American masters or PhD in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics will be able to apply for a visa that comes with automatic green card. Which is why I'm urging us to participate in immigration rallies and find out more from African organizations, you know, like the Cameroon American Council and other organizations who have been fighting for the visa lottery not to be erased. If you call them, you can ask for Miss Sylvie Bello. She's the best. Okay, she will answer all your questions. If you can't go out, just take a few minutes and sign this petition. It will only take like 2 minutes of your time. This petition says that they should now remove the green card lottery. Now imagine the fact that we have millions of Africans here in the US, and so far only 218 people have signed the petition. 200 Africans, shame on you. Kai, I trust the Latinos, you know, in this country. They've been so active since this immigration team began, you know, they've been so active. But Africans, we are too busy, eh? And lastly, if you're already here in the US, please don't get in trouble with the law. That can completely mess you up. You know what? I'm just keeping it real. I know that by now you've all seen that video, you know, but in case someone is yet to see it, ladies and gentlemen, these are Nigerian lawmakers in Rivers State, yes, beating up each other last Monday. Can you believe these are lawmakers, eh? These people actually sit down to make our laws, eh? Do they look like they are law-abiding citizens to you? Forgive me, but all I see in this video is a display of conflagration of unadulterated passion and high-flying emotional jingoism on display by thugs. Eh? And did you notice that even policemen and soldiers, they also took sides? Eh? A huge display of lawlessness among our lawmakers. Eh? Play that one more time. Do you know one thing that got my attention was some comments that I saw on YouTube? Yes, I'm not mentioning any names, so but some people wrote on YouTube that the lawmaker in blue, yes, that one, they said that he just showed us that he was a cultist in school and that he's still a patron of a cult by chanting the slogans and hidden codes of the Viking secret cult to his boys. And then they also responded, is that true? Because me, I don't know left from right to. Was that a cult chant? No be me talk I beg. Now YouTube viewers, now they talk I be waiting be my own. I'm just keeping it real. So not long ago, I talked to you guys about the fact that 4 Nigerians were shortlisted on the Caine Prize this year, and guess what? A Nigerian has emerged as the winner, Tope Folarin. Yes, you know, congratulations, my brother. That's my Nigerian brother, eh? Yes, he's also from Nigeria. We are both from Nigeria. You understand? Yes, Nigerians are very, very smart, very talented. And so, like I was saying, he came first and he won $15,000. Hello. So if you're a writer, you know, please keep writing from any African country. Keep writing, keep developing your skills. You never know what could happen. I mean, I can use $15,000 right now. I'm not asking you to send, but if you got this needing you to send, it's okay. You can send. If you would like to see the story that he wrote, you can find it on Caine Prize website. It's a really good story. You should read it. So we're very proud of Tope, and you know, I'm looking forward to seeing other Nigerians winning prizes like this. Kudos to you all that are representing us abroad and doing good things. Yep, just keeping it real. Alright y'all, it's been real, but you know, before I peace out, I'm trying to find out who you think would be best to rule Nigeria in 2015. If you are from Nigeria, I'm really looking forward to hearing from you about who you think could be the best candidate to rule Nigeria in 2015. If I have enough answers, I would read the answers on next week's episode. Alright y'all, it's been real, and I'm keeping it real right up in here. Until next week, I'm gonna see y'all later. Peace out.